Don't be intimidated to seek capital from anybody. Just because they have a big name, they have a big reputation, they have a big dollar sign number, it doesn't mean they're not open to talk to operators or to us fund managers.
Right.
Don't be intimidated to approach people for capital. You're not begging for money, you're not asking for money, you're actually adding value to people. And that's a key thing because most people look at it, oh no, when I talk to somebody, I'm asking for money. No, you're adding value.
If you've ever wondered how real estate investors actually build their businesses, not just the wins, but the setbacks, the pivots, and the lessons in between, you're in the right place. Welcome to Let's Talk Real Estate Investing, where we have honest conversations about what works, what fails, and what you need to know before your next move. Hi, I'm Debbie Balfour, real estate investor and investor success coach. I help real estate investors fund their deals through a relationship first approach by building a pipeline of qualified investors who are ready to say yes to your next opportunity. Each week, I sit down with investors and industry professionals to unpack their journeys, key turning points, and practical strategies that you can apply right away. So let's talk real estate investing. Most real estate investors are chasing the highest returns. That seems natural, doesn't it? Isn't that why we do it? But what if that's exactly why they keep losing deals, money, and momentum? Because here's the truth. The deals that look the best on paper don't always perform in real life. And investors who win long term, they're not the ones that are chasing returns. They're the ones that are mastering discipline, structure, and execution. Today, we're going to dive into a powerful shift in thinking, why discipline matters more than returns in real estate investing, and how understanding risk and the operator will change the way you evaluate every opportunity moving forward. And to unpack this, I'm joined by someone who brings a grounded, real world perspective to this conversation. Anna Jenga is a Navy veteran who's deeply committed to personal growth and building something that's meaningful beyond the traditional path. She's passionate about learning, connecting with people, and sharing her journey as she continues to grow in both real estate and in life, and brings a level of discipline, resilience, and clarity that I know is going to resonate with so many of you that are listening today. Welcome to the show, Anne. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's get into it. Tell us a little bit about your journey in real estate and what you're working on right now.
First of all, thank you so much, Debbie. Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here. Yes, I've loved real estate since I can remember. I came to this country around 2002, and prior to joining the military, I wanted to go into the real estate world, which I never ended up going into, but it's always a passion of mine that has always been in me, finding, and I think this is the right time for me to ignite it. And as I ignited to grow in this world of real estate, I'm finding out what makes it work, what makes the deals work, what makes many operators successful in real estate. Because most people just decide I want to start become an investor or I want to be an operator, but you don't really know what it takes to be an operator, what it takes to getting that deal. It requires discipline. It requires having a structure. It requires execution. You gotta understand these things before we even dive into thinking about having a deal.
Excellent. So, from your experience, what separates the investor who constantly and consistently can raise capital, that capital just seems to come to them, from those that are struggling to even get started?
One major thing I see that separate long-time operators and investors that make that the unique distinction there is discipline and lack of emotion when it coming to executing these deals. You can go into a deal with emotion. Most investors. Let's take myself for example. I haven't been investing for that long, and I know when I see a deal, I will fall in love with it. Why? Because I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs. What I know, I probably will love the number more than anything else. It's a big deal. So I know it has a good return on interest, cash on cash. I am good to go.
Hmm.
One deal can probably be make me can make an investor comfortable for the rest of their life. But an operator who has experience, they see value in these deals. They don't chase the shiny. They don't have that shiny syndrome. They look at that value. What am I getting? What can I give? What can I bring to the seller?
What more value can operator that bring to a seller, to their partners, to their investors, that's beyond the money? What are some of the things?
For one, you become an owner. As a regular LP, limited partner, you become a part owner of a deal that you never owned before. So you're making good return either on a monthly basis, and the end on the exit strategy of the deal, you're still making money. And at the same time, there are so many sellers out here that are distressed. So an experienced operator will be able to relieve these distressed sellers out of their distress. They will take those deals over, either assume the loan, and by that they bring value to them.
And not every seller is about the money either. So I think you're so right in saying that with sellers, when an operator is dealing with a seller, it's more than just money for them. So really getting to understand from that seller what it is they really need. Because sometimes it's just that, you know, it's not just about the money. Maybe it's about the timeline. Maybe it's about the terms. It's so really understanding why they need to sell and what they need from it could be that opening. So this is what you mean about value, right?
Yes,
Giving value is understanding what each person in the deal needs out of it. Yeah.
exactly. And also you gotta remember, an investor may be brand new coming into a deal. They never operated a multifamily. They never owned one. So coming in, it gives you leverage. Now, when I go out there to speaking to the brokers, I'm looking for a deal. I can always. What experience do you have? I am a part owner. I'm an LP in a deal, 1,500 unit, and out of those units, I have 400 share in them. You have a share in these units,
Mhm.
so it gives you leverage. You come in with no experience, and as you work with this operator, because they are already seasoned operator, you learn a lot. You start seeing what they see when what you're not seeing. So when you start even looking for your own deal, you know what you're looking for. Now you actually get that confidence to be able to talk to the brokers.
Yeah, definitely. I think the really good operators are also really good at educating their investor partners.
Absolutely. I have worked with some of the best.
Mhm.
One of those guys, his name is Matthew Taifki. Matthew, to me, even just talking to him, he's all about real estate.
Mhm.
God is so much that even without a deal, he can sell you a deal without having one. You see? And that's how you wanna come out. You're not selling the deal. You know how to flow with these deals. So when you talk to investors, you're not selling them. May I have a 2,500 unit that I need? I'm looking for investors. I have an value add property. If you invest with me, this is what we get. You become a part of, and it becomes a family.
Yes.
You know?
Definitely. You're singing my song. I always say that we actually should be getting investors before we even find the
Yes.
opportunity.
And that's a disconnect right there with many operators with the deal. That's why you gotta have the discipline. With the
Mhm.
discipline, you know, okay, what do I need to do first before I even get this deal? Before I get to the execution, what's my structure?
Exactly. What's the type of opportunities I'm looking at? What are the structure? How do I mitigate risk? How
Yes,
do I look for opportunities? How do I add value to the community, to the market, to the seller, to my investors? So,
exactly.
because what you're selling is not the deal. What you're selling is you.
If you're selling you, I gotta make sure that I have confidence before I go to somebody else.
Hmm.
And this they
Definitely.
offer and opportunities too. There's a lot of opportunities you get with this deal. So you have to see that before you dive into a deal. What is it really you're looking for? Are you looking to make money, quick money, or are you looking for an opportunity? Are you looking to keep these deals long term?
Hmm.
You hear people talk about, oh, I just wanna own a multifamily and then I'll flip it. No. If you go out, if you become a family of a very seasoned operator, you learn their way. They teach you, how do I get a deal and keep it? And out of this deal, how do I multiply in it?
Definitely. When a real estate investor recently put a post up to say, is a deal a good deal if the person doesn't understand what their clients want? And I wrote back going, is this rhetorical? Because, and that's exactly what we're talking about. It could be the best numbers out there,
Yes.
but it's still not be the right deal
Mhm.
or right opportunity for someone because there might be different factors. Maybe it's the timelines that doesn't work for this person, right? Because maybe they have, like they want their money back by X date and
Like,
definitely needs it back by that time. Maybe that for another person, no, I don't need the money now. I want to see more money in the future. Definitely understanding that is key. We talked about seller,
yes.
what the seller wants, but then it's also understanding your investors in your pipeline, what do they want? So that
Yes.
you can then marry the opportunity with what each of your investors want. So I totally love that. And I love what you said about Matthew, how he could sell a deal before he even has one. Because we said, because he's not actually selling the deal.
He's
He's selling his system, his process, his way of thinking. That's what he's selling. That's awesome. So what are
exact.
you seeing right now and in the market that most real estate investors might be overlooking?
What am I seeing right now in the bucket?
Because you're going out there, talking to multifamily sellers and you're going out talking to other people. So what are you seeing?
I'm seeing diversity in the deals. And what do I mean by that? Just because everybody might be focused on one market, and a lot of people right now they're focused on multifamily.
Mm.
They're not the only avenue out there right now. No, you can also invest in smaller deals. Smaller deals will still give you returns.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing that we are all going towards the multifamily, which is a good deal because that's really what I focus on. But just because multifamily is the thing is the thing right now, it doesn't mean the other deals don't work. Especially if you're a new investor in this. To
Yeah.
gain some of that experience, I think it's better to run some of these smaller deals. They will give you more leverage. You don't have too much. You're talking about you get a 60 unit. You never ran one unit. So if you probably own a single family and know how to operate that, now you have more confidence to go out there and get a two family. Then you're like, hey, this can be done. Eventually, you'll find your way into looking at bigger deals.
Yes, definitely. As an active investor, I do recommend. Now, I don't want to put people down who have big goals and feel that
Absolutely
they
not.
jump right into it. Maybe for some people it is, but I do recommend that you do start smaller because being able to handle tenants is another thing. Is this what you want? And it's true. We need to look to at our preferences. And sometimes when we get into real estate investing, we think we will like this. But when we actually start doing it, we realize, my gosh, that's not me. Managing tenants is a skill. It takes patience, takes risk mitigation strategies. It takes like just interview process and
Yes.
screening. All these things are extremely important. Obviously, there aren't bad tenants out there. They're bad landlords. Because if you screen your tenants properly, you'll
Yes.
have good tenants. Right?
Absolutely.
If you good processes in place to follow up, to do inspections, to stay on top of your tenants, then you'll prevent yourself from having the bad tenants.
Absolutely.
I've seen it in the United States. I see it in Canada. It's like multifamily is the flavor of the month.
Yes.
Everybody is running that way, and when everybody runs that way, I run the other way.
Yes.
So,
There you
because
go.
because if everybody's going towards multifamily, that means the demand, like the demand for multifamily is now going up. That means the prices for multifamily
Got
is
going
now
up.
going up too.
Now the smaller family, the smaller deals, now the price is going down. And they become the supply.
Yeah, so now if there's oversupply of that,
Absolutely.
now we've got opportunities to negotiate.
In fact, I noticed that now, even in my neighborhood, the multifamily, as I was looking a couple of months ago, as I was
Mhm.
looking at these two family, three families, the prices were so high. But now the prices are actually reasonable. So
Yeah,
that tells you, this big as people, segue towards these bigger deals, the other market now is being
small, yes, is now more affordable.
absolutely. And now the opportunity also lies for people who are not all that seasoned to run a bigger deal.
Yeah.
Debbie, that I forgot to mention to you was when you talk about the seasoned operators, when they
Mhm.
become seasoned, they become rounded. Now they realize I just don't have to just be an operator, acquisitioner. Now I can even be a manager,
Right. Yeah,
because now you understand the in and out of workings of the deals. You understand the tenant. You know how to vet the tenant. You've owned these deals for so long that now even operating, it becomes easier for you.
definitely.
So some of these operators I work with, especially that's what he does. He operate, he acquire them, and he manages them, and that's what we're talking about, the longevity. You're not just there for a quick fix. You're there because it's almost like a calling.
Yes. Real estate investing is not a get rich quick scheme.
Yeah.
It's you're in for the long run. You're in for the highs and the lows.
Yes.
And many of us are going through the lows right now because the market has changed, regulations have changed, interest
Yes.
rates have changed. You're in for both the highs and the lows, for the excitement and the heartaches. Something I want to point out too about the smaller opportunities, you can actually run a single family home as a multifamily by renting out rooms.
Okay.
Right, so
Okay.
then you've got multiple income
Uh-huh.
coming in, but
Mm-hmm.
you're in for a much lower price point.
Yes.
But so you can start out with that. Like,
Just
with
the rooms.
yes, as and build your systems around that, knowing you have multiple tenants
Okay.
in the same home. So definitely that's a strategy that people are now adapting,
Okay.
and it takes that same kind of multifamily
Mhm.
mindset
Is
in
this
there.
something you're seeing in your market? Like a
Yeah, and
multifamily?
I actually have a podcast, so anyone listening, you can also check out that podcast. Go onto my playlist of podcasts, and you'll find one where we're talking about co-living. And co-living is the same multifamily sort of approach, but it's a single family home. So you're in for less into the deal. For someone newer to the space, what's the most important thing to focus on early in their journey to build long-term credibility from your perspective?
In my perspective, for somebody who's newer, don't be in a rush. Don't be in a hurry and be teachable. Get yourself a mentor, especially with this season. If you have an operator, get to know him, kind of like shadow him. The wealth of knowledge they have is a lot of knowledge, Debbie. And for somebody who's brand new, you may find yourself actually owning a multi-family within a couple months if you're following somebody who's been seasoned. You follow in their footsteps. So learning and always learning. I know sometimes we do learn and then you don't do nothing with it. But if you're learning to do something with that education,
So learn, implement. And I found in this community of real estate investors, it's the only community I've ever found that everyone is so free with sharing their knowledge, with
yes,
wanting to help someone that's behind them. It's not about power and knowledge in this community. It's like, I want to help somebody else because somebody helped me from where I am. So I want to help the next person. So get a mentor, shadow someone, get a coach, do both. The coach may be teaching you different aspects of it while
The
that
key teacher.
mentor is boots on the ground. If you can
Yes.
find someone in your neighborhood, in your vicinity that's drivable too, that you can follow along. I always say to people with that is that offer your services for free.
Yes.
Because it's not free actually, because the learning you get from
Yes.
that, it's like you can't pay for.
No, you cannot. You cannot. And they actually spend their time to give you that knowledge.
Mm.
Follow them as they write the deals. Follow them. Learn how to underwrite a deal. Start calling brokers. Even if they don't take you seriously, call them. Get a deal, underwrite it. Learn how to do that. Underwrite 100 deals a week, however many you can, until you become seasoned with it. Now, next time you call a broker, now you know what you're talking about. Even the broker will not be able to recognize you never owned a deal before.
Because
You know? Practice. And as you practice, it gives you confidence. You need confidence.
So are you suggesting that they underwrite deals, etc., for themselves? Or are you suggesting work with an operator that are looking for deals and help them look for those deals by underwriting for them?
You can do both. You can do both. You can work with the operator and learn to underwrite on your own, like you're underwriting your own deal.
Mhm.
Because now when you're ready for this deal, you already know. Now, when you take in your deal to a seasoned operator, it's pretty much, I'm here. I have this deal I found, and I just need for you to maybe tweak it, check it out. Let me know if my numbers work.
Give the feedback, or I'm dealing with this seller, I'm getting resistance.
Yes,
What's your suggestions, techniques in order to overcome that?
absolutely. And like you said, they are very willing to help you. You're right. This is the one market everybody is willing to help.
Yeah. I
You
could not believe it when I came into this community. I was like, I found my people, found my tribe. Everybody was just so helpful.
They are not willing to let you fall. They are not willing to let you fail. Everybody is willing to hold your hand and teach you how to get these deals.
As long as you're teachable.
Yes, because some people just wanna do your own thing. You don't wanna listen because you're so eager to own a deal. You don't know the ins and working of it.
Mhm.
But when you're patient, when you find the right deal, you will know.
So for if a new investor was to come to you, and what are the top 5 things you would tell them from your experience as a new investor? What would you say to them, their top and most important things that they should do right away? The top 5.
Okay. The top five, for one, I'll give you my three. You gotta have the discipline. The discipline involves you cannot be emotionally attached to the deal.
Okay, so remove the emotions.
The emotion. Because that deal, you could be so attached to it and somebody just steal it under your nose. It was not your deal to begin with. It's a deal. And
Mhm.
the more you show emotion in a deal, the easier it is for you to lose it anyways. Because you're too involved in it. You're too hungry and you're
Right.
not ready yet. Okay. Plan the structure. How does the deal work? How do you underwrite the deal?
So I guess that would be number 2.
That's
Learn
number
how
two.
to underwrite a deal.
Yes.
Learn the whole structure around it.
And the whole structure. Underwrite the deal. From there, learn how to execute it. Remember, this is anything in anything you do, it has risk. Even in real estate, we have risk. Regardless of how big of a building is, it has risk. When you don't know anything about it, you don't know how to operate it, you never even did the inspection, you don't know nothing about it. So there's risk involved. You're working with people money. So even before you decide this is the route I want to go, remember that. Not many people have $15 million sitting around in a bank. That means when you find a deal, a multifamily deal, a good deal that fits, you're gonna need investors.
Mhm.
You want to make sure that you know the risk involved in getting into multifamily.
Right.
Learn as much as you can from people who know. Listen, take notes. Have your own structure. Don't seg and don't run away from that. Don't run away from your own processes. Stick to the process.
Stick to your process because
Yes,
yes, that's when it goes wrong, when you
yes,
try to go away from that. And we do tend to navigate away from our process
yes,
when life happens, when emotions, like you say, come into play, when life happens, when things are happening where you have to act quickly, we tend to navigate and we do need to pull back and say, okay, what
yes.
is my process for this so that you don't skip anything.
Stick to that. So that's a big thing I'm finding out about being an entrepreneur. You gotta have that. It's grounding. Without that, you cannot be grounded. You're tossed whichever direction. If this is making money, you run there. If this is making money, you run there. But when you follow that structure, when you follow that process that you put in, for you set in for yourself, you're gonna be successful.
So one of your tips is right away create structure and process for yourself.
Yes, yes. Create structure and process for yourself and stick to it.
I think we're at 4 tips now. So last one,
I think I gave you 5.
did you get 5? Okay, so
Yes,
let's recap. So remove emotion was number
yes.
1,
Mhm.
right?
How
2
to
was learn how to underwrite, like
mhm,
practice, practice, practice. Number
mhm.
3 was get a mentor
Yes, execution.
so that you can execute.
Uh-huh.
Number 4 was
Always learning
always learning.
and your processes.
And number 5 is systemize process and have
Yes.
process and structure.
Mhm.
Perfect. Those are
Yes.
great tips, Anne. So what's
Yes.
next for you?
Right now, actually,
Mhm.
I'm writing a book based on my experience in the military and how it has been transitioning into this multifamily world of real estate. And just what I just told you, that is exactly what I'm seeing. So as I see, I write it
Right.
because I think it's good. It will help somebody out there who's new. When you
Exactly.
don't
There's always someone behind you.
say,
Yeah.
when you don't know what you don't, what you when you don't know what you don't know, you can't go nowhere. To me, it's like repetition. You wake up in the morning, it's no longer you have, clocking. I'm here until 7 o'clock at night. No, now it's me. What's my structure? How do I start my day? What am I looking at? So getting that discipline that I had from the military to put it to work now.
Yes.
This is where I'm actually being challenged when it comes to this. So other thing I'm doing, I also do capital raising. I raise capital for these operators, whether it's long term or short term, because both in both cases, whether you're doing a short term, let's say you are a private money lender or you are multifamily investor long term, in both cases you need capital.
And that's again, this is where your experience is coming from with what we were
Yes.
talking about, giving value to your investor,
Hmm.
understanding what is the investor's need. Because the person who is going to lend for short term have different needs to the person that's looking for a longer term investment.
Yes, and that is the key there too. That
Mhm.
is the key because there's a lot of people who don't want their money tied down.
Yes.
There are so many other avenues where can still invest in real estate.
Yeah.
You know, you can take a deal like let's say a flipping deal, a 6 to 9 month, and at the end of that 6 to 9 month, you get your money with your returns.
There's pros and cons to everything. You're not locked in case you need your money. Your money is compounded because now you've got your returns.
Yes,
So say you lent for 9 months, you get your 6% returns. Now you've got your money that you invested, your principal plus your interest. So now you've got more to invest in the
yes,
next deal. So that's part's exciting. But the con on that one is that now you have to find the next deal again.
yes,
So
yes,
now you're constantly looking for opportunities to invest that money as opposed
absolutely.
to a longer term. The con is that you're not getting that money quickly. It's not as liquid.
Yes,
Then that person's in for a longer period of time. So they're
mhm,
not constantly looking for the next opportunity to invest their money.
yes, yes,
It's different types of people and
yes,
understanding their needs helps
mhm,
you to understand what sorts of investment terms that they would need.
exactly. And
Yeah.
you actually did bring another nice point there, Debbie, in regard to the returns.
Mhm.
Most seasoned operators don't look for returns. But returns really don't mean much to them other than more than value add. So that separate those seasoned operators to the new investors who comes into the market. You're looking for how much am I gonna get back from this?
Uh-huh.
No, it's how much value are you gonna make out of this? At the end of this deal, at the exit end, you get your money either way. But what do you gain? What value do you gain? You gain the value of how to operate, what it takes to own a multifamily, how many wheels in it, what's involved in it. You learn that.
Yeah.
So the money aspect aside, it's how much wealth that you're gonna learn out of it. Knowledge.
Yeah. The knowledge that you gain.
Yes.
Excellent. So I also love what you said that you're writing down everything as you learn to share. So many new investors say to me, as their coach, they would say, "But Debbie, I have nothing to share with anyone because I'm new at investing." And I always say, like, sit with me for 20 minutes and I'll tell you 30 things that you could share because they're learning and they can share that experience with others.
Absolutely.
So I love what you're doing because, like you said, there's always someone behind you that is looking at what you're doing and thinking, wow, this person is learning a lot, and that you can share that information with. And seasoned operators to a new investor, sometimes that's too big a leap.
Yeah.
It's like looking at a celebrity. They're too far removed, and they also are too far removed to talk to an aspiring real estate investor because they forget what it felt like, what those steps are, because they're like way, way ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And don't be afraid of that. But I will
Mhm,
tell you, when you begin, you're right. It is very, very challenging. It's like, oh, how am I going to approach this person?
mhm.
You realize, but the more you become familiar with them, you realize they're just a person like you. They just know their craft better than you do right now.
Yes.
And because of that, knowing their craft, now they're ahead of you. And there's a lot of respect for that. I respect them a lot on that.
Mhm.
Because from that, for somebody who is that far ahead and is willing to help me out, that's a lot of respect.
So you have been dealing with a lot of seasoned operators, and as a
Mm.
new investor,
Yeah.
like you said, people might be afraid to approach these seasoned operators because they feel, what do I ask them and how do I ask it? Right? What are some of those key questions that you would suggest that a new investor, when they're approaching a seasoned operator, ask them to gain their knowledge?
Want to know how they started themselves. How did you start?
Hmm.
Did you have any mentor? And where do you get your information from? Because sometimes even the seasoned investors, they rely on a lot of books, a lot of people who's in the real estate field. They also do go back and learn. They're always learning. Everybody is always learning. And like you said before, if you stop learning, you stop growing. So you want to ask questions like that. How did you get your confidence? How do you approach somebody who's out of your league? Do you have a set of questions with them? How do you present yourself?
So I've learned this from ChatGPT. I now ask ChatGPT instead of me
Yes.
trying to figure out the prompt.
Yes.
It's like I ask ChatGPT, how should I ask you these questions?
How do you like? It's amazing, by the way. So, like one of my operators, Matt, he
Mhm.
usually have a class. This class is all about we get together and we call brokers. So if you never been able to talk to a broker before, he give you that opportunity. And as you continue, we all mute the phone and we can hear you speaking to the broker. And as you continue, you hear people telling or you see people writing, say this, and they give you confidence. And you realize they just want to have a conversation. But we're
Yeah.
so intimidated. When you think about a broker, you're like, no, what happened if he asks me if I have proof of funds? Then he's gonna know for sure that I have no idea what I'm talking about. Because the moment you get that proof of fund, yes, he already got you. So we do that. He helps us do that. Let's practice calling brokers. And what do you say? Let's go underwrite a deal. So every Thursday we come in, how many deals did you underwrite? How many brokers did you talk to? Did you submit an LOI? So these are the things that I would tell a new investor.
So I love what you're sharing about what, your mentors do, because
Yeah.
this is something I want others who are listening to this that have experience, but now how do they share what they're doing with others so they can see what's their process? How do they make it open and authentic and visible? This is a way to invite people just to listen in and
Yes.
watch your process, because our world is virtual right now. So you can invite people on the call and have them be a fly on the wall. They're not saying anything, but they can listen to the way you're negotiating things. You can
Yes.
listen to the way you're dealing. So it's twofold. They're getting value because
Mhm.
they're learning,
Yes.
but also you're being very open with your process and how you do it.
Exactly. Exactly.
And this will help you build credibility with
And
others.
and you find out it's not that crazy as you thought. So it's not that intimidating. I think that's the word. It's not that intimidating when you hear somebody else actually do it.
Yes.
One of the best practices he does, he will pick somebody, let's say a broker from Iowa, somebody who have no idea who he is,
Uh-huh.
and he start talking, and you realize how easy it is to form that relationship with a totally different, a totally new person you never talked to before. So it gives you that confidence. Wait a minute. If he can do this, yes, I can do this. It's not that hard. It's just we put it in our mind that everything is impossible to do.
Definitely. It's like me and taxes. I have a mental block when it comes to taxes. In our mind, make things a lot bigger than it is. And then when we actually do it, we go, oh, that wasn't so bad.
I can do it again.
Wonderful, Anne. How can people get in touch with you? Because I know that you want to connect with more people. You obviously, because you're writing a book, you want to already share the knowledge that you have. So how can people connect with you?
I'll share my links. I'm on Facebook.
Okay.
You can also find me on Instagram and LinkedIn
Wonderful. So you're on the three places and they can look you up by your
by my name. Absolutely. And I'm always, especially on LinkedIn, I'm very active. I'm always posting. I'm always looking for conversation I'm always looking to learn from other people who are seasoned in this industry.
and that's where I found Anne. She was on LinkedIn. I will share in the show notes all your social media handles. What would be your last bit of advice or how people should approach raising capital?
Don't be intimidated to seek capital from anybody. Just because they have a big name, they have a big reputation, they have a big dollar sign number, it doesn't mean they're not open to talk to operators or to us fund managers.
Right.
Don't be intimidated to approach people for capital. You're not begging for money, you're not asking for money, you're actually adding value to people. And that's a key thing because most people look at it, oh no, when I talk to somebody, I'm asking for money. No, you're adding value. Especially this is tax season. If you can if you can save somebody some taxes, I don't know how it is in Canada, but in America, taxes are crazy. So
Well, you're much better than we are. You
yeah.
have not seen crazy taxes
Oh
until you
no.
lived in Canada. Trust me.
Really. So yes,
That's,
value. You're
yeah,
adding value to somebody by asking, by investing, by approaching them as an investor in your deal or something like that.
so look at all those aspects. Exactly. Tax again is another value add. So how
Hmm.
can you show them how they can defer
Right.
taxes or
Yes.
right? Really good point. Thank you so much for all your great knowledge that you've shared with everyone. We really appreciate it. And so what is your why behind investing in real estate? How would you sum up your why?
What my why is passion. You gotta live up your passion. That's my why.
Yeah. And it's been calling to you all your life.
Yes, that's my why.
Totally get it. I was the same since I was young. It's been calling, but for a long time I had so many excuses. There was no internet. There was not any
Yes,
information
yes,
there. But even when there was, I had the excuses for it
yes. Yes,
because I was scared of what I didn't know.
exactly. And when you get into it, you find out why. Why was I scared? That's
Hmm.
actually become your second why. Why was I scared? Because
Yeah.
there's nothing to be scared about.
Thank you so much for your time, and we really appreciate it. As always, if you're watching this this podcast, there are two things I'd like to ask of you. Number one, hit that like button. And number two, subscribe so that you can get notified when the next podcast interview is being. And I'll add a third, please share this with others that can get value from this interview. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you for having me.